2011 or 2010 through to our involvement in the actual GTF engine program. So there was a bunch of passionate, well you're all passionate I'm sure, but especially passionate bunch of GTF owners that requested a little gathering, and we were able to do that here at ProDrive and FPR. And so we thought we'd also take the opportunity to talk about ProDrive and Premcar and our involvement in the program, the GTF program, tell you some intimate details about your car that you've purchased, stuff that you might not have read in the mainstream press. So it's just going to flash up on the screen towards the end of this presentation, a few interesting things. So let's start out with, and we'll also get some people from Ford, in particular Justin, who was the program manager for the GTF program. So who is Premcar? Well, we came out of the ProDrive Automotive Technology Group. ProDrive, sorry, we go back. So we came out of the ProDrive Automotive Technology Group. We were the engineering centre for Ford Performance vehicles, which is really probably how we were best known. And in that time when we were doing the FPV cars, we did all the powertrain development, the chassis development, the body and trim development, all the integration, all the certification, homologation, and we actually produced those vehicles, the engines for those vehicles, and we final finishing of those vehicles in this facility you're standing in, and where it extends across the other side of the road. Clunky this thing. So the history of the company is the guys that work for ProDrive now, Premcar now, also have been working with the company for a long time. Our longest serving employee has been here for over 20 years. We started in 1992. We engineered the Tickford Capri and the original EV XR6 Falcon. We did cars like the T3, I think I saw a T3 T-Series outside, the BA GT, the BA2 F6, the F6X, and of course the Miami GT engine. And we had a key role in the GTF development program. We did the 351 engine development program as a contractor to Ford. So this is the really interesting bit. I guess when you've all driven your GTFs, you've probably realised that it doesn't feel like 351 kilowatts, it feels like a little bit more, right? And so what we managed to do, and we told Justin very late in the program, we snuck a few more horses in there than what we originally were asked to do.
I'll let you have it.
So the 351 number that's on the side of your car is actually what we call a steady state number. So under any conditions you'll always get 351 kilowatts minimum. So if you're driving in Northern Territory, a very hot day, very humid day, you'll still get that 351 kilowatts. Justin, do you want to come? And then, if it's a cool day, you'll get what we've called transient overboost. That's not supposed to go there yet. Whatever. So anyway, you'll get what's called transient overboost, and what that means is when the atmospheric conditions are cool enough, we actually overboost the engine via the supercharger, and we give you a bit more performance than over the 350 kilowatts. Now, a lot of people have speculated to what that is. These are the actual curves that were taken off the engine when it was on the dyno during the development program. So you'll see that this line here is your 351 kilowatts line, and that's measured using the strictest standard, which is an SAE standard. None of the DIN nonsense that some of the other manufacturers use. And then, even when the temperature's quite high, 160 Fahrenheit, you'll still get over 400 kilowatts. But then, at 100 degrees Fahrenheit air charge temps, we measured 425 kilowatts for the engine, which is why your car feels a little bit more special than the 351 batch might have you think. The last thing I wanted to talk about before I give Justin a chance, just to give you a welcome as well, is the Prem Car Turbo that you might see out here, and I encourage you all to have a look. It's our entry into the aftermarket, so Prem Car's entry into the aftermarket. It's the idea was to create a low-cost bang-for-buck car for people that want either another car that they can take to the track and they don't have to thrash the hell out of their GT, or they want someone who's a bit younger and wants something a little bit more less expensive. So it's a turnkey package. What we do is we buy an ex-police pack XR6 Turbo and we turn it into the Prem Car Turbo, and it's developed by the people that did the GTF and all the other vehicles that preceded that. And that's the car. You'll see that it's got a different wheel and tyre package, the TSW FPR branded wheels. They're forged wheels, very light, 275 rear tyre, 245 front tyre, very super sticky tyres. It's got an enhanced engine calibration, it's got Shockworks suspension, and Brett's here from Shockworks, saw him before. If anyone wants to go and talk to Brett, it's adjustable suspension system. It's got a decal pack and a revised engine calibration to give a bit more power. This is really fun. As I said, it's got all this extra content in it. It's got an engine oil cooler, transmission oil cooler. It's really well suited to the guy that wants to take the car to the track on the odd day. For more details, you can send that an email to that address. The address is also on the car out there on a little placard. The target price is low to mid $30,000, and that's it. So I thought I might also hand over to Justin. Justin played a key role in the GTF program. He's one of the best guys you'll find at Ford because he's got the passion that I think is shared between all you people as well. He really loves the product. So if you want to just say a few words, Justin.
Thanks, Ernie. Thanks everyone for coming firstly. I think it's a really good show of everyone's dedication and love of the cars to actually come out with your own time and sort of show everything off. I really appreciate it. I know the other guys from Ford that are here really do as well. The car, I suppose I'll just start talking to you a little bit about the car because you've all got one, or you've got one that looks like one, or you've got a GT and all wrapped with the car. So when we started that program, we originally didn't have too much of an idea about what we were really going to do with it. We were given a guideline, do a last GT, and then that was kind of the brief, right? So we had a small team, a very small team with me, my boss, and the PVC engineer Dave Byrne, who's not here tonight, but he's been around. And we knew we wanted to do something, we just didn't really know what. We didn't want to go back and just rehash and do a stripe package, and it would be a bit cynical, but we wanted to do something special. It meant a lot, not only just to you guys who've got one, but to the company as well. You know, that nameplate's been around since 1967. We were all part of it in one way, shape or another. A lot of the guys who work here, like Didio, who's standing over there, he's got himself an XY GT. A lot of the guys actually have the cars that we build, so it meant a lot, you know. Once they found out that we were doing something about this car, it was people come up to you and say, you know, what are you doing here? Everyone wanted to know what was the car going to look like, what was it going to be, and you walk around with a big grin on your face saying, no, I can't tell you, it's going to be good, we're going to do something special. But when we started it, we didn't really have an engine package. We had an R-spec base, which we knew we wanted to do something with that, but not a hell of a lot more than that. And what we did was basically my boss and Bernie were over at Bathurst, and it was a frosty one in 2013. These guys were having a few jars. Yeah, back to back. And these guys were having a few jars at the end of the night, and he started sketching out a power curve on the back of a beer coaster, and just kind of like, well, I think we can do it. And my boss was all, yeah, I think we can do it too. And came back to me on a Monday morning and said, you know, I think we can do it. And I'm like, really? Like, do you know what that means? We have to go and do. And we had literally, like, so Bathurst is in October, and we put the car on the market in June. So before then and now, and I won't explain to you for its bureaucracy, but there's a lot that we had to get through. You know, they weren't just going to go and pat us on the back and say, good job, go out and put it in the car and off you go. We were subject to the most stringent standards that Ford does. We had to do a full durability cycle. We had to get cars, prove it out as a, you know, as a proper program, and do everything above board. And by the time we got everything over the line, it was basically, we had 4 months to get this thing done. And with a hell of a lot of help from the guys in my team, I've got his mate who's sitting down over there. You know, he ran miracles to try and get the stripe package on the car looking the way that it is. I'm sure you guys just see some vinyl going over a bonnet, but he's mastered these curvatures and bends and just things that he doesn't ever want to see ever again. So I'm really lucky that I was surrounded by a group of just people who saw the same thing that we saw. We were able to, you know, come back to Bernie, and these guys know exactly what they're doing and what we needed to deliver. And it's a really strong partnership between us and Premcar to be able to deliver what we did, because you've got 4 months to turn on an engine program. That doesn't seem like much to you guys, but trust me, it's not as easy as it sounds. And yeah, it was one of the most enjoyable but very hard periods of my career. And one of the things I just want to talk to you briefly about was the dyno story. So I know, just put your hands up if you saw the Wheels dyno stuff on YouTube. That nearly everyone. So when that happened, I think the feeling around both from Premcar and from us when we saw the initial dyno results from Wheels was we were just shattered, because we knew the car had so much more potential than what they were able to get out of it. And it actually opened up a whole heap of different opportunities for us, because usually what Ford would do, we just sort of sit back and let the press sort of take it its own way and just sort of deal with it, because, you know, we knew what we could do and the car would speak for itself. But we had to think about it, and we were like, no, not this time, because there's so much more at stake than just our integrity. It was like, you know, you guys have invested into that car, and we took that really seriously. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to prove them wrong, right? Like, I'm a stubborn guy. I knew that car had 350 kilowatts at the wheels, and I was going to show them that. So with the help of Rob Herod up the back, who was instrumental in getting us some real and valid reasons to want to go back to Wheels and say to them, you know, this is what the car can actually do, and this is how we'll show it to you. And we dragged the car down there, which was Evan's car. Where's Evan? Evan, who's the lucky owner of GTF 014. Evan, that car did 30 power runs that day on the dyno. And it's strong. But so, you know, that's what we needed to do. We needed to prove that we were right. We needed to prove that our car made more power than HSV. We all knew it. Right? It was just a matter of actually showing it. And when we finally did it, we went to Rob's dyno in the morning and ran the car up on the dyno, and we were getting good results. We were getting good results for what we thought we would do. It was a little bit down the day before, and we were thinking, why has it done that? And one of the things Robbie said to me, you know, Evan, again, the day before it went out to the press and we had to change the tyres. So we put new tyres on it, and the tyres actually gave us a little bit of a decrease in rear wheel kilowatts because they were brand new soft tyres. So there's something for all your dyno stories. Tyres make a difference, right? And then what ended up happening was we went up to Dyno Dynamics in the afternoon, and we spat out basically 350 at the wheels. And HSV weren't real happy with that. They basically got their car on the dyno. They did 320-ish at the wheels. They got in their car and just left. So we were still ready to go on the dyno. Where'd they go? And they're like, no, they've just packed up their toys and off they've gone. So, yeah, 1-0. But, yeah, so, and you know what? Like it was a really good day because the wheels guy was like standing there and he was like off the camera. He was saying to me, "That's a lot of power at the wheels." I'm like, "Yeah, I told you. Like we told you on the phone 2 days ago." You still ran the story, and now we told you again. Now you just have to see it for yourself. And that's part of what we've done here. The overboost that Bernie was talking about is a real thing. It's not just fake. It's not something that we just created out of thin air. It's a tangible aspect that you can feel in your car every day that you drive it. It's available from when you turn the key on, and it doesn't go away until you turn it off, or unless you're driving in the middle of Northern Territory. Days like today, you'll be in it all the time. Yeah. So for me, that was a really redeeming thing, and for the team as well. Like when I came, my phone was ringing as soon as I finished off at Rob's. I was on the phone to my boss, and how much did it make? How much did it make? The time's like, oh, that's a great result. We're better than HSV. Off to the next one. Yeah. Again, phone ringing. Everyone's on the phone. Bob was on the phone. He wanted to know how we were going. That's the kind of level that it went to. It was at the highest level before the interest in this story, because no one wanted to take that car any less seriously than what it was. So for me, it was, and for my team as well, it was just a huge relief to have this car done. And I've met some great people along the way, and the owner of Car 500's here as well. Where's Steve? Where are you? He's over there. Steve Clark. He's a lucky owner of Car 500, and we've worked pretty well with Steve as well to make sure that his car's special and that we signed it off and signed the GT name off in the right way. I know that everyone wants to always say, is there going to be another GT? And I'll tell you categorically, this is the last GT. So you can quote me on that, you can put it on a forum, you can do whatever you want, there will not be another GT. This is the last run. The GTF F stands for final, and that was the last one that we did. And it was a hell of a way to go out, I think. We were really proud of that car. So I hope if you've got any questions, just come up, speak to me. Ismar's here as well. A couple of the guys from Florida here, just find us, ask us questions. We're happy to answer as much as what we can. So thanks to everyone for your support. Yeah.
Justin, why do you think that wheels got it wrong the first time?
It's a really good question. To this day, I don't know the exact reason. When we went to Rob's, we bought one of the development cars as well. And just as an example, that unbeknownst to us, someone filled it up with 91. So we put that car on the dyno with 91 in the tank, and it still made 310 at the wheels. So pinging its head off, it made 310 at the wheels, and with 98, it made a hell of a lot more than that. So don't know the exact reason. I wasn't there on the day. Into protection mode, yeah. Well, we saw that at Rob's. Yeah. And we saw that at Rob's. The day we did the dyno at Rob's, it was like 2 degrees. It was freezing that day. It was snowing in Lilydale. And the first run that we did at Rob's, it was like we kind of looked at each other and were like, what? And we realised quite quickly that the car just wasn't up to 10. And the transmission went into protection mode and just basically said, no, until the car gets up to 10, you're not getting any more power. And it gradually just came up as we did more runs. And look, after, we did, 9 runs? And it was still making power. So the heat soak argument or any of that sort of stuff was kind of laughable to us, because we do know what that car can do. And I know a lot of you guys probably don't access that kind of power every day, but when you start seeing 9, 10 runs, and it's just run after run after run, and you're doing from 70, what is it, Rob? Go from 70 kilometres an hour to 100? Yeah, 60 to 200 over 9 times in a row, and you're still making over 340 of the wheels. It's some go. So I don't know what else more I can say. I think I covered it. Do you have any questions? I'll answer them now. Go on.
The transient overboost in the 335.
Yeah.
What are the rear wheels power there?
Well, you get around the 330 of the wheels, I think you should be going.
Yeah.
So it's not dissimilar.
No, it runs the same logic. There's the same logic in the other cars.
It's probably, there is probably that same delta though. There's at least that same delta. Maybe a little bit less, so the 350... The 351, is probably 425, I think, on maximum transient overboost. The 335's probably around 360, something like that. Probably.
Yeah, 360.
Yeah.
So it's definitely overboost.
Yeah.
Is it just the tuning involved in the differences? What's the differences there?
Yeah, pretty much the tuning. So, but there was a lot of work. So what happened? Really, the difference
that happened between when we did the original Miami program and when we did the Rapture program, or the 351 program, was there was a quite a significant upgrade both to the Bosch DSC module, which is the traction control, your stability control, and there was another significant upgrade done to the engine control unit.
Right.
So what we had to do at the original program was artificially nobble the engine back a bit, because the rest of the car couldn't really handle that much torque through the driveline all the time. So once we got the ECU upgrades, the software, the accompanying software upgrades, and the DSC upgrades, what that allowed us to do was give the torque that the engine was capable of, and for more of the time, and we were able to lift that ceiling up. So in other words, for an example, we were able to do twin pedal map strategy, where in first gear you don't get quite as much torque as you do in second, third and fourth, etc. So that means that the total load into the driveline is not as high as it can be limited by just bringing that first gear back a bit. So it was really around the cleverness of the software and the control strategies to be able to unleash the beast when it was capable, when the rest of the vehicle was capable of handling it.
Clever. Bernie, are you able to talk about the aborted intercooler program, because I believe you guys were planning on that prior to FPV coming in-house with Ford.
Yeah. Well, no. There was yeah, not on the microphone. Yeah, not while he's standing. No, there was a bunch of cars there was pictures of cars with the intercooler that were photographed in Sweden. So when I said we did the DSC upgrade, so we went from Bosch system 8.1, boring part of the story, 8.1 to version 9, which means we had to validate the whole traction control system and stability control system again, which meant sending cars over to Sweden to test on in the winter environment, the cold environment with the ice and snow and whatever. Now, in order to maintain engine charge temperatures, we had to fit heat exchangers into the intake system for that test. So that car was photographed with a engine intake charge temperature control system in it, otherwise known as an intercooler. So that was really where a lot of the rumours started. Any more or less controversial questions? Yeah.
Is there more potential in the car through tuning and stuff as it sits?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's set up for reliability, durability,
Yeah.
everything the way that it is.
Yeah.
There obviously has to be more in it the way that it is.
Yep.
Obviously, yeah, then
Yeah.
how reliable it will become. Have you pushed it further? Do you have any ratings or readouts on what it's made?
Well, we've had a car on the hub dyno here with a standard engine that had 430 at the wheels. 460 at the wheels. We've had an engine on the dyno here that's done a 500 at the flywheel. The engines, look, the whole principle behind the design of that engine was to make it the most efficient pump that we could. You know, it's got exhaust catalyst that came off a Ferrari 360 Scuderia. So they're very low back pressure metal matrix catalyst. It's got, you know, a very highly optimised low pressure intake system and intake manifold. You know, that's really, we designed it with a massive ceiling, that engine. So in terms of its capability, yeah, it's over 500 kilowatts. But it's beyond anything that you could put to the ground with road tyres, and that's really what it comes down to.
Not many pursuits here, but I have one. I wasn't able to drive it, unfortunately. But what are you guys seeing with those things?
Well, it's the same engine package, right? So there is the same limits apply, but unfortunately with that driveline, it's got an extra limitation in terms of the pinion angle changes in the diff. So, which is the reason why it's never gone above that 315 number. But probably plenty enough for a year, as you probably would have found out. That's it. So, look, there's more chance to go out and kick each other's tyres.
Not physically kicking tires though.
And talk to each other. There are ProDrive and Premcar and Ford people littered amongst us. So feel free to ask them questions. Feel free just to hassle them or talk to them and talk to each other. But once again, thank you all very much for coming. Oh, the ProDrive turbo car's out there as well. If you want to go and have a look at that, just look at my notes. Oh, merch is for sale too. If you want to buy any of the FPR
Get
stuff,
any GTF stuff?
No.
any GTF merch.
No, that's Ford brand apparel.
Right, so that's these guys. So it's all FPR stuff. FPR are co-hosting this tonight, so you know, this is their merchandise showroom. They're more than happy to sell you some stuff. Just go and see the girls behind the counter there.
We have stuff to sell.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, and that's it. Once again, thanks for coming. Oh, sorry, what? And sandwiches are behind here. And Pepsi Max. Thanks.